Alright. I really wanted to do this one video. It was in my plans and I liked the sound of it. So today I rewatched Everything Everywhere All at Once, and I would say it's one of my favorite movies. And it covers a lot of different themes, like all at once. Obviously, it has a bunch of multiverse shenanigans, a lot of themes with the mother and daughter relationship, about the daughter in general. But my favorite moment of the film always comes back to being the portions with Waymond being the husband of Evelyn, Evelyn being the main character, I would say, right? And when the movie begins, we can say everybody is overwhelmed. Evelyn is drowning in the tax paperwork, in business problems, having her father there trying to prove herself to her father, having her relationship with Joy. Joy is then overwhelmed in a completely different way, being misunderstood and unable to connect with her mother. And even Waymond is overwhelmed because marriage is falling apart. His business is failing. And he starts the movie trying to hand Evelyn divorce papers while she's so distracted by everything else that she can barely pay attention to him. So, like, nobody's really a simple villain from the movie. Like, nobody's acting out of evil, to say. Almost every conflict within the movie is as somebody is overwhelmed, frustrated, hurt, or just unable to communicate what they actually need. And of course, one of the first parts is just Evelyn not knowing how to just say that she loves her daughter. Instead, she's just gonna say you need to eat less. You're getting fat. And so Evelyn mostly seems to spend most of the movie trying to solve problems by pushing harder. She moves from one crisis to another very quickly, and then just the more pressure, the less she is able to see the people around her. Technically, she's juggling all those multiverses in her head until eventually she couldn't handle anymore, right? She technically died for a few minutes there. Overall, I mean, as the story progresses, she learns to control all these alternate versions of herself. She sees universes where she becomes a movie star, a martial artist, where she made different choices and lived completely different lives. At first, like, sort of seems like the question is, what if your life would have been better if you had made different decisions? And I mean, that's a fair question. I'm sure most of us have asked that question at some point in our lives. What if I had gone somewhere else? What if I did something different? And there's a lot of that in the movie, right? But I specifically want to say focus on some of the other themes within the movie. The themes about choices and of what we choose when things are difficult. So, because another one of the moments uh, within the movie that happens, I would say in the main universe, the universe where she has her IRS audit, but gets until before the party to resubmit them. Right as the climax of the movie is starting to happen, Evelyn decides to sign the divorce papers. She basically had enough and came to the same conclusion that Joy had before this. She even breaks the window, and in that sequence she had basically just destroyed both her marriage and the business that she built with all of them. And the sort of moment that gets her past this and actually into the resolution of the film comes from Waymond, right? Like, it'd be fair for him after all this to just give up, get angry, or finally decide he was done trying. But instead, he chooses that time to clean up the broken glass. He talks to the IRS lady one more time while being there, and gets them more time to fill out the taxes. Like, despite the business collapsing or his marriage appearing to be over, his response is still to try and fix things. Like, he smoothed it out with the tax lady. I don't know how to say her name. While everyone else is escalating the conflict, he's trying to repair the damage. Same thing happens with the IRS battle universe. Hard to give them clear names, but in that universe, Evelyn stabs him for some reason. And all the people, she's been fighting all those people around the entire time. Yet right after her stabbing him, he continues trying to protect her. Like, he tells the people to stop fighting. He places himself between Evelyn and the danger. And he keeps trying to understand the people that are fighting when everyone else is just trying to beat them. One other quote, which honestly I didn't even remember this quote, but it was mentioned in another video that I had watched, which I felt like it was a good quote to steal. He talks about that choosing to see the good side of things is not being naive, but it is strategic and necessary. And this is coming from the quote-unquote successful universe where they do not get together. Evelyn decides to not stay with Waymond and instead live her life on her own. And she's ultimately the successful movie star that I don't think that was ever her main goal, but success. And in the movie, much of the movie shows situations where kindness doesn't immediately solve anything. Like obviously his marriage is still struggling, his wife still misunderstands him. Problems are still clearly there. But what if he is saying is that the kindness that he gives is the choice about who you want to be, especially when life is difficult. Anybody can be kind when everything is going well, obviously. But when you're hurt or I'm getting distracted because I don't know how this side is 4 blocks long. Okay, I found it. Never mind. Bad. Uh, yeah. Uh, and it's also just the quote within the movie that I think, at the very least, is the most impactful to me every time that I hear it. With the line that in the successful universe, after Evelyn's movie is over and Waymond chases after her since she's ran away, he repeats, "So even though you have broken my heart again, yet again, in another life, I would have really liked just doing laundry and taxes." So obviously this is the universe where they didn't stay together. She decided to listen to her parents, and where she becomes famous, they both achieved more. It should have technically been better, right? But yet, his point is not about fame or the success or any wealth. But he's just talking about the ordinary life they never got to share. The life filled with chores, responsibilities, or the boring days. And I like to think it's part of the main central idea of the movie. Like they show us infinite possibilities for most, if not all, of the film, and the movie arrives at this conclusion that life isn't necessarily meaningful, or how extraordinary it might be, but it's who you spend it with. And then the overall ending as a whole is about Evelyn and Joy. They, are fighting. Joy wants them both to go into the donut, not the donut, the bagel. And it's technically exploring the same idea, Evelyn reaches a point where she can see every possibility, every alternate path, every different version of herself all at the same time, just the same way that Joy has been doing and dealing with throughout the whole movie, like the quote unquote evil version of her. And she had seen enough universes to conclude that nothing matters. The whole reason that Joy has been building the donut because nothing matters. She wants to take herself out of it, right? But it's after the Wayman's moment where they touch hands, where everything sort of shifts, and she sees a moment of kindness that she hadn't seen before. Like, it's not that everything matters, but just that this matters. Like, the moment in front of them. That's this daughter, this family, this particular life or timeline. Obviously, not because it's perfect, because it's not. They were getting audited. It's not the best possible version, but it's hers, and it's the one she shares with the family that she made. So by the end of the movie, Evelyn begins to understand what Waymond understood from the beginning. That meaning would not be found in endlessly searching for a better universe. And instead, meaning comes from investing yourself in the one you already have. I think that's a pretty good takeaway. By the end, instead of asking, like, or just tempting us with the idea what would have happened if we had chosen differently, by the end it asks, how many times do you choose the people in front of you? Did that moment of love is not really about choosing someone once, but choosing them like again and again after an argument, or disappointment, or after years of ordinary life. Even when there are easier moments, even when things are messy and complicated and unresolved, including like how they are for the majority of the film, overwhelmed by everything around them. Waymond even saying that he has no clue what is going on during the action sequence, but then being the time that he is able to get them all to stop for a moment and get Evelyn to see his way and ultimately choose kindness for herself too. So, out of all the lives we could possibly imagine, and all the possibilities we could chase or dream about, the people we keep choosing may be what gives meaning to the life we already have. ultimately, I think Everything Everywhere All at Once is a very great film. And yeah. I ultimately wanted to add another tiny piece just to, I don't know, hopefully make my point clear. But just in general, the more I think about the movie, I like to think it's a good example of basically people struggling to understand each other. Everybody in the film is overwhelmed and carrying fears or disappointments or frustrations throughout the film. And expectations that the people around them can't fully see. And because of that, they spend most of the movie talking past one another. Like Evelyn just can't understand Joy for a large part of it. Joy can't understand Evelyn. Evelyn can't understand Waymond. Even when they love each other, they struggle to see the world through each other's eyes. You know, you know. And so what makes Waymond stand out for me isn't that, he doesn't always succeed or choose the right thing. He was on the brink of, or well, he did ask for divorce. But the point is that he keeps trying. Even when he has been hurt, he chooses kindness. When he's ignored, he chooses patience. And when conflict would be easier, he still chooses understanding. Again and again. He refuses to reduce the people that he loves to their worst moments. I don't know, maybe that's why part of me really likes that laundry and taxes line. And one of the, I don't know, I quote it. But it's about choosing someone not because life is perfect, but because of it isn't. It's about seeing all the difficult, frustrating, ordinary parts and deciding that they're still worth it. For a movie about endless possibilities, the lesson that stayed with me the most is that people are complicated. Like we hurt each other, we misunderstand each other, we get overwhelmed. Like, but it shouldn't just be a need to find someone you'll never struggle with. But for me, it's about continuing to choose understanding when it would be easier to give up. I won't say that it's easy, as recently I felt very upset, but I still think that themes of kindness and love are something important to take away from this movie. And it's just a movie that has spoken to me a lot forever. I've always really thought it was one of my favorite movies. Even if, it's not the perfect cup of tea for some. That's all. That's what I wanted to add before I ended it. Until next time.